Until the summer of 2016, I was the deputy ambassador of North Korean embassy in London. Why did you escape from North Korea? People from around the world who learned about North Korea from media typically guess that I escaped from North Korea because of hunger or oppression. Many of them were surprised to learn that I escaped because I came to face with the reality that North Korea is not a normal country. North Korean regime expected me to be a professional liar, but I could not lie to the people I met, to myself, and even to my children. North Korea is a country with class system that are divided into three parts: the ruling core class, wavering class, and hostile class. In North Korea, your life and options, ranging from residence, education, and employment, are decided by the class system. And I was lucky to be born into core class. My grandparents and parents were true believers in communist North Korea, and they were loyal to late Kim Il-sung. I lived a privileged life, as those chosen in North Korea can, as long as they are willing to lie for the regime and enlist their family members to lie. At the age of 12, I entered Pyongyang School of Foreign Languages and was sent to China to learn English and Chinese at the age of 14. I graduated from Pyongyang University of International Relations and was posted to work at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs at the age of 27. As a young boy, I read the books about communist liberators who allegedly sacrificed their lives for the equality of mankind. In 1996, I was posted to Denmark as the third secretary of the embassy. Based on my education in North Korea, I expected a lot of beggars in the streets and ruthless exploitation of the workers. But instead, I found peaceful and healthy society with ample welfare system. I began to recognize that elite education I had in North Korea was a propaganda. My ideology in Kim regime began to crack down. In middle of 1990s, there was terrible famine in North Korea. And I truly believed leader Kim Jong-il would do everything possible to relieve the problem. But instead, he invested millions of dollars in defense industry and on mausoleum to commemorate the embalmed body of his father. I began to recognize the hypocrisy of the regime I was serving and had been taught to revere. In 2004, I was posted to Britain. My sons, starting in an atmosphere of freedom in British schools, were experiencing doublethink. I also experienced the doublethink, the act of simultaneously accepting two contradictory beliefs. Part of me still held on to the communist belief of North Korea, but another part of me had doubts. My sons had a lot of hard questions at the dinner table. They asked, "Daddy, why there is no internet in North Korea? YouTube helps you do a lot of homework. Isn't North Korean government supposed to care about education? How could I give the answers which I didn't believe myself? Every 3 or 4 years, my family shuttled between totalitarian North Korea and free and capitalist world outside of it. When we were back to North Korea, we had to be very careful. Naturally, friends of my sons were curious about the life in London. What was it like? But my sons cannot tell the truth. They can't say it's great. So they asked me how to respond to all those questions. So I suggested that they tell the stories of Oliver Twist. Because reading Charles Dickens in North Korea won't get you into any trouble, like reading some other foreign books. When my sons grew up in North Korea, sometimes I pondered about my fate, my sons, and that of North Korea. Maybe the regime collapse not before too long, certainly in my lifetime. Maybe I could wait out the regime. But in 2009, Kim Jong-il all of a sudden announced that his youngest son would succeed him. This disheartened me. The end of the regime was not in my sight. Luckily, in 2013, I was posted again to London. At that posting, I accompanied Kim Jong-un's older brother, Kim Jong-chol, to hear Eric Clapton at Royal Albert Hall, London. In North Korea, British rock music is forbidden. But Kim Jong-un's old brother is a big fan of Eric Clapton. Even though I continue to speak on behalf of the regime, but slowly and inevitably, defection started to creep into my mind. But what about the relatives back home? Kim regime is a firm believer in guilt by association. In North Korea, if anyone steps out of the line, then his or her relatives, friends, and colleagues can be punished. This keeps North Koreans in line. But I thought about my sons. What would be the future like if they're back to North Korea? How could I assign my son to that kind of life when they had already experienced the freedom? So I decided to cut off the slavery at my generation. No matter what, my sons, my grandchildren would not be slaves. I made a break for it. When I came to South Korea, people there asked me why I came to South Korea instead of United States or United Kingdom. I choose South Korea because I want to stay close to North Korea so that I can start a campaign for the freedom of North Korean people. North Koreans are 21st century slaves. The people like me escaped from slavery at different times, but there are still many are enslaved and suffering. More than 200,000 people are kept in gulags. So I want to continue to encourage North Korean elites, first and foremost, to recognize they surely know, or to suspect they already had in their doublethink. It is also very important for the world to send as much as information into North Korea, because in North Korea, the only information allowed is the state propaganda. Kim Jong-un regime will not fall tomorrow. But it will eventually, as North Koreans rise up in disgust at having been oppressed and misled. Please join us. Let's unite for the freedom of North Koreans, either to speak or to live as they wish in a democratically reunited Korea, or at least to escape so they can answer the questions, as now I can, why I defected North Korea. Thank you.